What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about what Norwegians think about the meaning of life. So, a lot of Americans might answer this question from a religious point of view or from like a philosophical point of view. In the United States, our Declaration of Independence says our country is founded on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So maybe a lot of Americans would answer this question in that way. But today, I'm really interested to hear the Norwegian perspective on the meaning of life, because I know our cultures can be quite different. So I'm really curious to see what Norwegians think about this. So let's take a look.
Meningen med livet for deg?
Det jo et veldig stort spørsmål.
Har du tenkt på det?
Ja, jeg har faktisk tenkt på det. Jeg har faktisk snakket med venninner om det.
Ok, kult.
Og jeg tenker at meningen med livet masse sånne små øyeblikk. Når du sitter søndag morgen med en sånn kaffe og bare tenker sånn, akkurat nå har jeg det bra. Eller sånn en middag med venninner. Og så tenker jeg liksom på det, på sånne små klinkekuler.
Ja.
I like this. Very interesting. So this is a random Norwegian woman. I do notice immediately she is not talking about religion at all, or God, or anything like that. I think in America, a lot of Americans would answer this question talking about God and religion. This woman is actually talking about something I really like this answer, that life is about small moments of happiness that maybe you don't even realize are so important when they're happening, but those are the things that really fill you up with happiness and love, and I think that's a great answer. Yeah.
Og så tenker jeg at liksom alle sammen, vi har et sånn norgesglass. Og så det liksom bare om å gjøre å få aller mest av de klinkekulene i det norgesglasset.
Ikke sant?
Skjønner du hva jeg mener?
Wow.
Og at egentlig så det ikke å liksom klatre Mount Everest, eller,
Ja.
men liksom bare få aller mest av de der små klinkekulene i det glasset. Akkurat.
Oh my gosh. The other thing I have to say is, what a philosophical, deep answer. Are average Norwegians this introspective? She's making this analogy to filling up a glass with marbles, little happy moments. What a thoughtful answer. I don't know if you would get such a deep answer from a random American.
Akkurat nå så det jo bare det å finne en hobby som fyller litt i hverdagen.
Ja.
Yeah.
Jeg synes jo det her må være 20 år, så det sånn, blir man litt lett forvirret, skal finne et yrke, skal finne en mening, men akkurat nå så det bare hobby.
Ja.
I like that too. I like a lot of people wouldn't necessarily answer in this way, talking about a hobby. I think people don't realize how important having a passion or hobby or something like that, how important that is in your life. Something to look forward to get better at, especially for Americans. Most of us don't really enjoy our jobs and our work, so we really, really need something to look forward to after work. Something also, it's interesting because you could answer this question, the meaning of life, you could answer it by saying family, but this person is actually talking about hobbies, which I totally agree with and I think is kind of underrated.
Finn noe som gjør at hverdagen blir litt gøy.
Ikke sant?
Ja.
Har du noen alternativer på lista?
Lære meg å seile. Jeg bor på en
kult.
seilbåt. Så
Ok.
det å lære meg å seile som litt meningen. Kanskje klatre litt.
Ja.
Kanskje ha litt penger på BSU også.
See, she's already talking about outdoor activities, which is very Norwegian. And I think this is a really good question for Norwegians the more I think about it, because Norway is known for having a population that's very happy. People that score very, very high in happiness when they do those types of tests and studies. So I think Norwegians know a bit about happiness and the meaning of life. That just occurred to me when she started talking about how her hobbies include getting outside, sailing, rock climbing, stuff that Americans don't really do often. I think we could really learn from this perspective.
Men ellers ville jeg sagt det å lære å seile.
Jeg tenker at meningen med livet er å føle på alle følelsene som vi har tilgjengelig på hele følelsesspekteret.
Interesting.
Det er egentlig bare å leve med alle bølgene.
Ja, ikke presse ned noen ting.
Jeg presser ned ganske mye.
Ja.
Men jeg lever fint også med det.
The meaning of life is to feel all the emotions. These are some really interesting answers. Like, and again, nothing so far about religion or God. Very interesting to me. These are fantastic answers, different answers. This one is about feeling everything that there is to feel. So experiencing everything there is to be about being human, all the emotions, good and bad. I would agree with that as well, totally.
Hvorfor presser du det ned?
Nei, det er sånn det har funket
Ja.
lenge.
Tror du ikke det kan komme opp senere i livet og ta deg litt på senga?
Det har ikke gjort det hittil. Så.
Men det kan jo være at alle mennesker finner sin egen mening med livet, da.
Ja.
Så jeg tror kanskje det med å føle, og det føle på de gode følelsene og de dårlige på en måte har blitt
Yeah. Interesting that they brought up sometimes they suppress some of their emotions. I think that's a very Norwegian attitude, I think. Americans often wear our emotions outwardly, on our sleeve, very publicly, where maybe Norwegians aren't so public and outward with expressing, like when you're upset with something or something's bothering you, or I don't know. Is that fair to say?
en måte for meg å skjønne.
Føler du hjertet, vil du si det?
Ja. Ja.
Nei, det er jo leve nuet, egentlig. Ja.
I love this answer, and I have to say, this answer, the meaning of life, living in the present moment, that is an answer that an older person would give. I know this because, I'm not that old, but I'm not a kid anymore. I'm starting to get older. It's only once you get older, and I don't know how old this man is, maybe he's 40. The more old you get, I think the more you come back to this idea. Living in the present moment. Because when you're young, it feels like you'll live forever. You don't care if time flies by. It doesn't matter. The older you get, it's about really enjoying life, enjoying every moment, because life is short and it will end. So enjoy it and appreciate it. I just thought that's funny because I do think he is a little older of a gentleman, and that's the answer he gave. So I think that makes sense.
Ja, jobb, venner, familie.
Ja.
Jeg føler det spørsmålet er veldig individuelt, og at det kommer veldig an på hva som er meningen med livet for den enkelte personen. For meg er det på en måte bare å ha det bra, eller å ha det liksom best mulig. Og da handler det om hvem.
That is a very basic way to answer. Not basic in a bad way. That's a very fundamental way to answer. What is the meaning of life? It is to feel good. She says it's to feel good. That's the meaning of life. Feel good. Again, so far we are well into this video. Not one answer has included something about God or religion. So I don't know if that's a Norwegian thing. Like, I don't know how religious Norwegians are, but I think if you did this same question to Americans, you would have encountered several people by now that would be talking about religion as a meaning for life. And many people who would answer like this. Like, I think a lot of Americans would say the meaning of life is to be happy and to leave some kind of legacy behind, I think.
Jeg omgås med hva jeg gjør, og hvordan jeg har det med meg selv.
Ikke sant?
Jeg føler alle har en forskjellig mening med livet, som du sier litt. For meg personlig er det kanskje bare gjøre det jeg synes er gøy. Følge litt drømmer, bare sånn, leve det som jeg vil leve det da.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, the young people they interview talk more about, just being happy, following your dreams. And the older people talk a little bit more about family and treasuring every moment. So the meaning of life, I think it kind of changes depending on where you are in your life.
Hva tenker du?
Nei, altså det er jo litt det å bare leve, på en måte. Og det å være med venner.
Friends, yeah.
På en måte, hvordan skal jeg si det, prøve å være lykkelig. Og å være en god person.
Try to be a good person. Be a good person. That's a good answer.
Det jeg føler det ofte egentlig bygger på. At man alltid stever med å være en god person. Du har det bra, du har en jobb du liker, du har familie og venner som liksom, du faktisk er nære. Og det å, egentlig bare passe på å holde kontakt med folk sånn at du ikke blir liksom helt isolert.
Yeah. This group of people really talked a lot about family and friends. Really, really interesting. Man, I think this says so much about Norwegian culture in Norwegian society. Norwegians really seem to have a good set of priorities. Like, everyone is giving really great answers that I don't think you can argue with very much. Be a good person, succeed, care about family, friends, love, and enjoy life. I think that's great answers.
Hvorfor tror du så mange sliter med å finne mening I dag?
Fordi det er jo helt crazy, det livet vi lever.
Det er jo ikke naturlig I det hele tatt. Altså,
og det er jo ikke noe fasitsvar.
Wow.
Altså, ser man byen man lever I nå, og samfunnet som satt opp. Altså, hvis man tenker på urmennesket, da, så det jo ikke... Det skal jo egentlig ikke være sånn. Så det gir jo mening at folk blir deprimert spesielt.
That's interesting. This is getting a little philosophical as well, but I've thought about this personally. I think she's totally correct. Humans, we've lived for thousands of years in the wilderness, hunting and gathering, trying to survive in the harshest conditions imaginable. And only in the last 100 and 200 years have we lived like this, like we do now, in comfort, where you can go to the grocery store and get whatever you want. There's so much excess. You have to get a job. You have to be okay with maybe going to a company, to a desk, to an office, and 5 times a week, not getting out much. I think that's why it's so great. I think that's why Norwegians emphasize getting out into nature. Because that is what humans were meant to do, connect with outdoors and nature. I know Norwegians really emphasize that for happiness. And I think that is such fantastic advice that Americans really need to listen to.
Hvis man ser opp I bygningen her, ikke sant? Man har jo ikke noe grønt rundt seg. Det sånn.
Nei, vi trenger naturen, liksom.
Ja, jeg synes det viktig.
Yep.
Tror du den trenden kommer til å bli verre og verre?
Jeg tror det kommer til å bli bedre etter hvert.
Etter hvert,
Hvis man ser sånn om 100 år, kanskje. At det vil være mye mer parker opp på bygninger, det vil være grønt I byen. Fordi man...
Certainly, as time is going on, unfortunately, in America, young people are getting more depressed, more hopeless. young people aren't having children as much in America. I think the internet, social media, as well as things like inflation, and a lot of Americans can't afford a home or the American dream. It's really made a lot of Americans not very happy. So if you did this same video and interviewed Americans, I think you would get some very different answers, maybe a little more depressing, actually.
Man har så mange valg. Litt som sånn, mange av mine venner har vært veldig flinke på skolen og blir litt blinde av at de har så mange valg, for de kan komme inn på hva enn de vil. Og når man på en måte har så mange valg på media, sosiale medier, hører om så mangt, så er det sånn lett å bli litt paralysert i den valgmuligheten da.
Ikke sant?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a very long video. I just want to skip ahead. Here's a part where they ask, do you think Norwegians live a meaningful life?
Meningsfulle liv.
Tja. Jeg vil da håpe, men det vet jeg. Det er litt vanskelig å svare på. Jeg håper det. Men det er jo litt vanskelig å vite hva som er meningsfullt for andre.
Ikke sant?
That's true. That's true. The meaning of life is a very fascinating question to talk about and discuss, but it really is different for many people. It is unique. I think that's one of the fun parts of talking about it.
Kanskje alle lever litt sånn midt på tre?
Ja, ikke sant? Det er jo veldig mye materialisme i Norge. Det kan jo kanskje være litt negativt.
Ja, det vil jeg ha sagt. Det er veldig typisk å høre om sånn, man skal ha hytte, hus, barn og garasje.
A cabin. It's just so funny to hear some of these Norwegian references. Like, in Norway, you're expected to get a cabin. Nobody has a cabin in America, so that's funny to me.
Noen skigarasjen, en fin bil, kanskje 2 til og med.
Skis! The meaning of life in Norway is to have a cabin and skis, yes.
Ikke sant?
Så det er jo noe man føler på alle sammen, at det er en viss sånn materiell standard å leve opp til da. Og så må man kanskje velge yrke basert på det, og mening med livet basert på det. Jeg vil ikke sagt at det er lettere hvis man er fra et land hvor man ikke har tilgang til like gode materielle, eller bare sånn økonomisk vinst da.
Ikke sant?
Men ja, det kan jeg backe.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Just to finish off here, Norway is a great country to be in, to try to achieve the meaning of life. If you're trying to be happy and successful and achieve some kind of meaning to your life, Norway is a great place to do it. And I can tell from a lot of these answers that that is true. And Norwegians think pretty deeply about this. And I think Norwegians have fantastic opinions on this. So this was really, really interesting for me to hear about, actually. I really enjoyed this, and I got a lot out of this, actually. So anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on the meaning of life. That'd be really interesting to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and learning about Norwegian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.